why can't she love the act of this thing as much as me? And if she doesn't, then she's pretending, and I don't want her to pretend. This is all false. It's not true.
Yeah.
But in a man's mind, this is what he goes through.
Yeah, I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out the stands. I deserve another 100.
Here we are, the Married Game Podcast with the beloved Jessie Joy. Let's go. Hey, this one's going to be a really, really interesting one. In fact, let's start it right here. You ready? Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We are the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. If you don't like what we're talking about on this show, turn the station. But today's topic we're going to talk about is manipulation.
Woo!
Oh, there you go.
That
live.
was good.
There we go. Let's go. New episode dropping soon. Okay. It's fun.
Well, tell the people what that was for. Who's just listening was for our Instagram.
Oh, that's right.
Didn't you start?
We're started. We're here. We're there. Or I can do it again. We can start over again, and we can do it again. No, let's just leave it.
Oh, it's fun.
We're blending the families.
Oh,
It's
there
the
you
Brady
go.
Bunch up in here.
Oh, my God.
We got our Instagram followers meeting up with our podcast followers, and we're just a big old Brady Bunch. Hey, I've got a hunch. Let's talk about the Brady Bunch. No. Okay. Jessie Joy, have I told you lately
Yep, you did.
that podcast days are my favorite days?
Tell me this morning when I woke up to a text at 6:30.
See?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
why are we sleeping in?
I saw it.
Yeah, you did.
Actually,
Hey,
I think it was 4:30. I saw it at 6:30.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Yep,
Because I know right where I was when I sent that to you. Do you like those texts, by the way?
I do.
Tell me more about that. Like, why do you like them? What does it do for you when you
just
wake
think
up for
of
a
me.
text?
Feels like you think of me.
Is that what women like? Is that why women like getting texts from their man throughout the day, in your opinion? Let's hear from the horse's
Absolutely.
mouth.
No, that's the horse says yes. That's exactly why. That's exactly why you are taking the time to think of me throughout your day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even if it's just something simple. What are your favorite? Like when you get this type of text, you go, "Oh my God, that's my favorite." What is that one?
More of when you're specific about something. I notice you do this or that or whatever. I feel seen that way.
Ooh. More the more appreciative for the things that you do type stuff.
Like when it's a little detailed, I like that.
Specificity really is the thing that actually nails down the compliment and or the text or that type of stuff, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super helpful. All right. So two things have popped up that I want to address today. And I think it's going to be really helpful for our listeners to understand a perspective shift. So I hear a lot from guys, I wish my wife loved sex as much as me.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And I want to kind of get into that. And it happens a lot. Have you ever heard guys say that?
All the time.
Okay. What does a woman wish that her man, what's the opposite of that?
I guess they could be a few different things. I mean, it's all on what you feel like you're lacking from him. So it's like,
Okay, say a couple of different ones.
I wish he was as clean as me.
Mm.
Or I wish he, how we were just talking about you sending me text.
Mhm.
Like, I wish he would think out of me throughout the day. I wish he would ask how my day is. I wish we would conversate more. I wish, it could just be on like what you're lacking.
You know what when you kept saying, I wish this, I wish this, I wish this.
I wish.
I immediately thought of Aladdin.
Why?
Well, it's like you're saying, I wish my guy would do this. Probably a lot of the women think the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess that most of them are like, yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
The same way the guys are like, yeah, I want my wife to X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about how similar so many people are for these things, what you're ultimately saying is, I want to be seen, I want to be appreciated, I want to be known.
Mm-hmm.
That's what guys are asking for too, right? They want
Yeah.
to be like, wow, thank you so much for working so hard. Thank you for providing. Like, it seems so overly simple, like I've already told you that, and yet we never get tired of it,
Mm-hmm.
So the this issue that we hear from guys, by the way, I do feel like we're Aladdin's 3-wish genie, because you just said the things that every woman wish. If a guy heard that, he should be taking notes and be like, you wish I would text you today. You want me to know how your day is going. These are like basic, simple human requests.
Yeah.
That your mom, best friend, and sister have no problem finding out from you about, because that's the things they would go for first, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I hear guys say this. I wish my wife loved sex as much as me. Now, having been in the world of sex for a very long time, I've maybe met 4 or 5 women in my
career.
In
fucking.
In my long resume of fucking.
Okay.
And after about 2 weeks, it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
This might not be for every guy, but I've known a lot of guys that they're like, shit, the girls that have to have sex twice a day. Yeah. Like it's like if they have to have it, it can start to wear on a dude.
So what you're saying is
this
like,
is the
that's
exact
far
opposite
and few.
problem.
Right. That's far and few to find those women out of a couple hundred. You said 4 or 5, right? Mm-hmm. So that's like a small percentage. And then you said, and to have them is a lot of work.
It's not what you think it is after 2 or 3 weeks for 90% of dudes.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got to get clear on what you're asking for is what you're saying, right?
And I think more importantly, I've come to a conclusion and a punchline that I want to share with a guy to set him free. Mm-hmm. And the conclusion and punchline is you actually don't want your woman to love sex as much as you. Usually that translates from they go, I wish she would initiate more.
Or be more involved, or be more present, or be more fun and active and
excited about it. Like, oh, is tonight we get to lay around in bed naked for 3 hours tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, not when does that come?
Yeah.
Because a guy will be thinking that in his head. Like when we go, we're going to an overnight thing. I'm like, we're gonna fuck that hotel room up. Like this is gonna be great, right? Mm-hmm. So a guy's living in the anticipation. He's like, is she living the same thing, even just for like regular sex at home? Not regular sex, but just sex at home, right? But I wanted to challenge a man even a step further. I don't necessarily even think you want the initiation. We do love the initiation. No doubt about it. We want a woman to be like, I know how much you love this meal. I cooked your favorite meal.
Right.
Eat up. I go, but if she initiated and didn't enthusiastically participate after she initiated, would you want her to initiate and not be that thrilled, or like there to serve but not really? Or would you want to ask and then her to turn into an absolute fucking tiger while you're doing the thing? And they're like, oh, no, I want the tiger during the feel. I go, okay, now we're talking.
So they got to get clearer on what they're asking for.
And
like a genie.
And then...
In the wish?
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's 3 more steps to this.
We're closing the loops, aren't we? I'm like, why Aladdin? I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I was thinking the Will Smith one, but then I was like, keep your wife's name out my mouth.
Oh, my God.
All right.
So dumb.
I'm on fire right now. Okay. There's another step.
Yeah.
I go, they can't process. This is where it's breaking down. They can't process the fact that they go, why can't she love the act of this thing as much as me? And if she doesn't, then she's pretending, and I don't want her to pretend. This is all false. It's not true.
Yeah.
But in a man's mind, this is what he goes through. So I came up with an analogy.
Okay.
All right.
Does it rhyme? It has to rhyme.
It doesn't.
Oh, wow.
But it does involve badminton, which we have not talked about for a very long time.
Or ever.
Ever. So It's even better than a rhyme.
I never know where you're going, but let's go.
Okay. If you loved badminton, and
I don't, by the way.
If you loved badminton, Jessie Joy.
Okay. Yes.
And you watched YouTube videos on badminton. You got your little birdies out and your little whatever the things, the rackets.
I have no idea. Go ahead.
Do you know what badminton is?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. So
it's like a tennis thing.
Kind of like that.
Okay, that's all I know. You're choosing the bad analogy, but I'm right there with you.
It's a great analogy. Okay. Don't ever judge the analogy until it's complete. What are you doing?
Surprised you're not using jujitsu, but go ahead.
Okay, well, Let me have my punchline.
Go.
Okay.
I'm
No,
ready,
so
I'm ready.
bottom line is this. You love badminton, and it brings you so much joy. And you invite me to go with you, and I go, I'm totally going to go with you. And I go play badminton with you, and I enthusiastically play with you, and we have a good time, and we're like, it's the badass badminton. And we're driving home, and you start to sulk. And I go, what happened? That we had so much fun at badminton. And you go, but you don't like badminton as much as I do.
Oh, God.
See where we're going with
Yeah,
this?
I know men, make their bed and then lie in it. They cause an issue when there's no issue. When there needs to be no pouting. I know what you're saying because it happens.
Here's why the next step is even deeper than if I loved badminton as much as you. If I loved badminton as much as you, it means I'm playing badminton because I like badminton. But if I'm playing badminton with you because you love badminton and I love seeing how happy you are, then yes, there's a motivation that says I'm doing this because I know how much you love it. That's how much I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I love you that much that I will come. I'm not going to go badminton on my own.
Yeah.
I might rub one out badminton here once in a while. I might rub another badminton out by myself every once in a while.
Wink, wink.
But I'm doing it because it makes you so much happy. It makes you so happy. And when a guy hears that analogy, he goes, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she's not laying around thinking, when am I going to fuck this guy next, doesn't mean that when you say, hey, do you want to go have a good time upstairs, that she's like, yeah, just because it doesn't mean she's not, this isn't.
Not horny for it, but she's happy to make you happy.
But it's happy to make you happy.
Makes me happy.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's the punchline.
That's what a lot of men need to understand.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's this concept of understanding that, now, do we want a woman laying around thinking about us, fingering herself about us, sending us naughty pictures?
Of course.
Every wife should be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's it doesn't have to be that way for you to still have an epic marriage and understanding. Just because she doesn't think about this one thing the same way I do doesn't mean she also knows that you don't really want to sit down and hash out her sister's, mother's, brother's, best friend's marriage details.
You don't want to know that? That's so crazy.
But every time you ask a woman, hey, what's happening with that situation? All I have to say is, I got some very interesting information. And as soon as I get home, you walk up, you go, tell me right now. Right?
Meet me in the other room. Let's go talk.
Let's go. I want to. And so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I know that sitting around having a conversation with you about something that just lights you up, watching you light up, brings so much joy to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this is the last step. It comes from a person truly not actually feeling worthy of asking for something, getting it, and even if it's just, I know this is pleasing her to please me, she's taking great joy in my pleasure. Most people feel selfish just going. Like most guys are even reserved in how they express themselves when they make love, fuck, or whatever they do. And I've even heard some women aren't as expressive there because they feel like their husband's not that expressive. So they're mirroring even in that realm right there. Mm-hmm. So if somebody loves badminton just for badminton, that's great and that can be fun. But it gets old. Mm-hmm. After a while, you're just like, Jesus. I know guys that are married to these types of women, and they're like, I'm fucking exhausted, and I know I'm not even supposed to say that because you haven't been laid in 3 months talking to their other buddies or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so it's become the guy that your wife wants to please, even if it's not her thing. And if you really have to have this just horn dog of a thing, well, then maybe you need to consider, hey, maybe do something different. Create a different structure either within your relationship
talk
or
about
say,
it and communicate.
hey, maybe we need to go do something. But a woman can't. It's so unfair for you to look at a woman and go, why don't you have this drive and desire inside of you? You can still be the most attractive. I mean, I don't look at you like a nymphomaniac type of woman. We have sex. We have a lot of sex. We love the sex. There are times where you go absolutely fucking nuts. There are times where you're like, I'm
good, but do you
I want to make this man happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. So therefore, I'm no longer tripped up in my head by it, thinking I have to meet my sexual equal.
Cause tell him how you fucked it up in the beginning. Because I remember feeling like you had to have it, but also like you treated me like I didn't like it, or you made this whole story up. Though we didn't even have a problem with sex, and you created a problem thinking I didn't even like it, I didn't want it, like that. I was just laying there like fish or whatever, like. But you just started to make it up, and then it became an issue.
Well, let's tell him what you're really trying to tell him. What were you really trying to tell him is when we first met, you hadn't really orgasmed.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't.
And so at first,
actually, that's a huge thing with women. So I'm glad you said that because I've always wanted to say that.
I didn't get it all the way out.
Wait, I just want to say that that's a huge problem for women who, a lot of women have never orgasmed or wait until their 20s or whatever, because there's a lot of like, you got to know yourself, you got to know what you like, and you got to feel comfortable with the man that you're with.
Yeah.
And if he's not making you feel comfortable and creating an issue, and that I still liked sex just because I didn't go all the way. Yeah. I still liked it, and you still created an issue about it.
No, I want to give them the whole context. So you hadn't had that experience,
right?
But you were stoked to please me. In the beginning, I mean, you're the best. Like, you're the best. You're the best.
It's a fun activity.
Yeah.
And especially when you're first dating.
And there's connection, and you're learning. And what happened is I didn't understand. Obviously, we got you to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
we're there.
We've been coming ever since. But what the important thing I didn't understand was the things we're talking about on today's show that caused me to create all this bullshit that then created this distance between you and I. And I told you about all my crazy stunts in the past. And then you're just going, it just, all of it was too much.
You said it in a way to make me feel, well, you don't make me feel, but I felt inadequate to meet your needs and demands, because you would say it in a way of like, well, like I had it like this, kind of like, why aren't you like that or doing this? And we just had to create our own rhythm in our own situations.
But let's also be honest. When we first dated, like, you never rejected me. There was times we had sex twice a day. Like, it was, I created all of it.
Yeah.
The punchline, all this.
That's what I wanted you to say. There we go. We nailed it.
There we are. I created the entire fucking problem based off my conditioning, my insecurities, my not feeling true value and worth in who I am as a human.
Your triggers and traumas about like your first marriage. You didn't want that to happen, so you overcompensated for what you dealt with there. Yeah. And then projected all that insecurity and ego and pain onto me, and then created an issue about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And even though I was the leader of the pack, there's a very big pack of guys listening to this show that have done the exact same fucking thing.
Yep.
Not even knowing they've done it. Mm-hmm. And then sex.
Deal.
This is the big deal. It's why I've been so like almost pissed off lately.
Yeah.
But just this attitude of like, guys are so blind to the fact that they create the problem that then becomes the thing that they want to leave their relationship for. Not all guys. Not all guys. Not all guys had a gal that's like, I'd fuck you twice a day. If that's what you want, I love it. Let's go. Let's do your thing, and let's make you pleased. From that all the way to, I hate you so much, I have to fucking leave.
Yep.
Okay, that was our path.
Yep.
But most guys, when I have a conversation with them, like, so what was it like in the beginning? We were hot and heavy. She was all over me. Bop, 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 bop. I go, yeah, because that's the mating ritual. Woman knows man wants penis wet. Man knows woman wants.
We make fire. We want to fuck.
There's some basic fundamentals that both people are putting their best foot forward.
Yeah.
And then they stop.
Exactly.
Which leads me into our next topic. Well, first of all, I want to just kind of wrap that one up in the sense of
Can you put a bow on it?
It's she doesn't have to like sex as much as you. More importantly, you want her to like you
Yeah.
a lot so that she desires to please you in whatever it is that you find pleasure in.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It makes me think of our dancing because you didn't really like to dance, but now you do because I like to, and then you see how happy I am.
Yeah. Well, but then then I became a dance lover.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. So it was I'm okay with dancing. I like dancing. I mean, I used dancing before you. You know what I mean? I had a 2-step that won't quit.
Oh, see, that's the problem right there. Gotta move them hips, bro.
Oh, Jesse Joy, you are an
Okay,
interesting
and you said,
creature.
which leads into our next topic, which is
the dancing for me. I would dance with you because it like brings you. You unlock. You're like a jellyfish out there. You just move and you are your thing. I come dance with you. Then you basically taught me how to feel the beat, and I'm realizing, oh, this is all beat based, and then having a lot of rhythm based on like being a musician. I was like, that's what. Once it hit, I was like, oh, I'm sold. This shit's the best shit ever. And then now, I just want to dance all the time. I'm now like, I want to fucking dance tonight.
I was like, let's have a quiet night at dinner, And you're like, no, we're dancing after. I was like, okay.
I'm getting my dance on, lady.
And we're dancing.
And so it pushes into this thing where a guy creates his own issues, doesn't understand it, and doesn't realize that he's creating all of this and he's not seeing it, and it causes me a lot of consternation.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, oh, if this dude could see it. And you'd never know when a man's going to see it. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
You never know.
And things for you just all of a sudden click. I'm like, why now? I've been saying this for years. Why does that click now?
Yeah.
You can't nag him to death. You got to let him figure it out. You can try to give him like scenarios or explain your heart, but all of a sudden, sometimes it clicks. And let us help these men.
You know what we need to do? I think we need to create a product where we like simple flashcards for women to say, if this is what you're trying to tell your man, say it this way.
I need attention. I need more communication. I need so it's not like you never, you always.
It's question based.
Mm-hmm.
With we're just workshopping this here on live on the air.
Yeah, you are.
It's, hey, I got a question for you. It would make me want to X, Y, and Z with you more if I understood why you did this.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that this is a typical response in these scenarios. Can you tell me a little bit about why, if a woman could ask, if a man, obviously these are the things we teach men how to do in Married Game. Mm-hmm. How can you ask your wife questions so you can get to know where she's coming from and actually seek to understand her? Mm. Man, have such a hard. It's so difficult for them to feel like they. You can go into a conversation and not have to be right about shit, and you can still walk out of it fine. That's a hard one for men to learn.
Yeah, it is.
That's a hard one. Tell me more about this. Oh, cool. Do you know anything? And they're like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Like the same if you ask me, do you know anything you know about nuclear fusion? Nope. Oh, well, you're not that smart. Not about nuclear fusion.
Right.
I'm not. Apparently not.
No ego involved. That's hard.
That's why friends get along so well, because they're super curious and interested about the other person. And there's just been so many studies. I sent you that reel about the friends thing, about
marry your best friend.
Marry your friend, because you can truly be who you really want to be around that human, and who you really want to be around that human is accepted, seen, loved for who you are. You love who you actually are when you become around that person. So all of this to say is, there's been this radical shift in society to make a man feel like he has got to dance through fucking hoops just to get laid, when in reality, we're saying it's a lot simpler.
It is.
If you understand, this person literally just wants me to show up the same exact way when we were dating. Interested and caring about her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a man does this courting dating thing. I'm just thinking about when I was courting and dating,
Mm-hmm.
and like for my first wife, and then even as you and I were really doing our thing,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something that goes on the back of a man's mind where he goes, I'm courting her and dating her to bring her into my family, and then once now we're going to have a different dynamic.
Hmm.
And so I think he forgets that the context of it doesn't matter. It's your best friends going through this whole thing no matter what. But he's like, okay, we're no longer dating, courting, we're now married. So now let's get to the adult shit where I really focus on this. You kind of hunker back here, and they start to just drift. It almost feels like it's unconscious to a man, because that's what I thought was normal. Is that not the craziest thought?
Yeah, it blows my mind that you're saying that you.
It's blowing my
It's
mind.
just the
saying
words
it.
that, like,
But
we
that's
know that, but why? Why would we do that? So it's like a bait and switch. Why do that?
We have all been culturally, somehow our culture has told us this is what all our job is. Once you get the girl, is to provide.
Mm-hmm. Only. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Our best advice that we built this entire thing that we're doing here, just this simple podcast and be an example for others of what it looks like for two people to hate each other, to love each other beyond, and to go, yeah, dude, pretend like you're dating her and she hasn't picked you yet. Welcome to Married Game. That's it.
Yeah.
And
It's as
every
simple.
fucking facet around there, which leads us to our next topic, Jesse.
Oh, there we are.
I had a really interesting revelation coming home the other day. And the question was, Keith, do you have everything you have because of true attraction or because of manipulation? And that was an interesting question to be posed to. And so I thought to myself, well, I obviously know what the difference is, maybe at a high level.
Yeah.
But what I also understand, and I try and tell our guys in Married Game, I know you're coming for one reason, because the fruit of your fucking orchard is not what you want it to be. So I know it's gonna be hard to take your mind off of what that fruit is, because you want to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You were born to fuck. You want to fight. You want to forage. You want to fuck. You want to have fun. Like, I get it. And sometimes you want something so bad you're willing to do whatever it is to get it, and that includes manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of sales have to do with manipulation and not true attraction. And the reason why I wanted to talk about on this one, because of how bad we fucked up this first point we were talking about I wanted to love it as much as I love it. The real truth of the matter is, what if your goal was, maybe you won't reach it, but what if your goal was, I genuinely want everything in my life to be in my life, because people, including my wife, are so stoked and honored that they actually get to be there. That would be true attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Who would then the big question,
Mm-hmm.
who would I have to become to actually do that? And so as I was settling through this, I was like, I'm sure I have learned some conditional manipulation in my day. I'm not immune to that. And especially coming from, my family is the most scarce, victim, negative. I mean, you saw this week. My sister texted me this, what appeared to be a genuine text only for me to, which I wasn't going to respond. Right? These people have been out of my life for a while, and I remember why, because they're just negative as shit.
Yep.
And then I said, hey, doing better than ever. And then she comes up with this big, long text about how I'm the most horrible human being on planet Earth.
Text the shit on you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so this was just your way of being able to dump your heart. Oh, yeah, this is why this is why. I remember you did that to me on the phone 5 years ago. You just yelled at me for your beliefs and your situation.
Yeah, she did.
You knew about 25% of the 100% of the information. So you maybe knew about 10% of the information this time. And I was like, oh, this is why these people are in our life. Now, I have been conditioned to some degree by the scarcity of my loving family to think, how am I actually going to get what I want?
Mm-hmm.
without having to take the long, hard road of becoming the thing that if you become this thing, it can't not happen.
Sure.
What are you hearing me say in all this from a female perspective?
It feels like you've come a long way because that you were really good at that. And even us breaking up, you tried to use every tactic you had. And that's a manipulation. It's a taker energy. And I only came back is when I saw that start to go away. And you were so good at doing that there are times where you have, not lately, but come back to that a little bit. It's like, whoa, like, and you're like, oh yeah. So like we've worked through that and talked about that, but you using those tactics thinking it would work only pushed me farther away.
Yeah.
So it's not an attraction when you're using tactics, and women know because it's not going to last. It doesn't last when you're manipulating.
Yeah.
It's only when it's your true self, it's your true attraction, you're being really who you are, and we're like, okay, now we see this is going to last.
Yeah.
Now I want to be with this guy. You're not manipulating, forcing me, or taker energy.
Yeah. For one reason I've come to conclusion on. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
If you use manipulation to get what you want, and you know the energy, I can tell you the one question you ask to know which energy it is, and it's how attached am I to the outcome I really want right now?
Definitely.
So that's the question.
Absolutely.
That sets the filter of like, whoa. How attached am I to this outcome?
Right.
If you use manipulation, here's what happens inside of you. You feel it's compulsory, and you feel like you have to be compliant so as not to stir up the positive ethos of the family. So you might accept.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women who have good hearts and are just like, listen, I know you need sex, probably will. And what that's doing is giving a false reading of what's actually happening on the real connection.
That was us.
And then watch this. That's so true.
Yeah.
But to get her, and this is what everybody, I want to be wanted, to actually get her to be like, I want to do this, I want to please him, it has to be from a compelling on the inside. And you can't manipulate somebody's inner desire.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work.
Right.
It's impossible. And that drives guys crazy because they want to be able to do it now. But here's what I think would really offer them a lot of hope. And that is simply go back and go, what was it like in the beginning? And if they go, that's what she had it, then it's in there. You've just either done some unattractive things that have caused her like, oh, what the fuck? Or stop doing the attractive things. Like, what the fuck? Where'd it go? So I think there's hope in all of that. But it's this, do you want her to feel compelled? Because that's what they're seeing in the porn that they're jerking off to.
Yeah, exactly.
They're seeing girls that are like two of them at once, so happy to please this man. And they're like, what would that feel like? Just one of them, one girl that's like, I am so, get over here. This is going to be the funnest time. They're like, what would that feel like? Every guy's going, what would, if he hasn't experienced it or if he experienced it early on and he goes, how can I get back? It's in there.
Yeah.
And that's why becoming the most attractive, that's why working on you is the only way to actually create it. Do you agree with that?
And deserve it and to receive it, right?
Oh, and then feel like they can receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And not feel like they got her, like I got her to do this.
Yeah. That's the manipulation.
Because that's actually where a lot of that powerlessness is born.
Mm-hmm.
We could go so deep on this.
I know.
Yeah, but this is the question for most men that they're really asking when they come in a married game. They're not saying this and they don't mean this, but it's usually the energy that's coming from is, dude, how can I manipulate my wife to fucking get me get what I want without me changing?
That's the doing the dishes, taking out the trash. Look what I'm doing. Look at me. That's what they think they're doing.
Yeah.
Taker energy, manipulation, not truly doing the hard work to become their best self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's when you see me working on myself and like really doing the thing, what does that do for you?
Oh, I love it. I'm like, talk to me. Tell me what you've learned. I get so excited. Don't we sit at the table or our island and I'm like, tell me what did you discover? Like, what are you feeling like?
Yeah.
You have to work through these things in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come to this conclusion. I'm like, there it is. Like, I've seen that. I knew that was in you. I'm so proud of you. Like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it's a change, but like an upgrade.
Yeah. Like a transformation.
Like another level you've reached, that you've
Yeah.
gotten rid of this, gotten rid of that little piece, gotten rid of, working through your family issues, working through your childhood, working through, like, it makes me so proud and happy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That was, this was neat. This week was needed to kind of come to realization that my childhood had created a very scarce individual, and removing myself from any of their ether has been just so positive for my life, right? And the more I just kind of think, but I had to work through as a man, like, well, hey, this is my family, but it's like, but all they do is just
shit on you.
Shit.
They really do.
And they'll talk sweetly. Some of them will talk sweetly to my face, but then behind my back, they'll be talking shit because then they're like, it's. And so,
sad.
I just like, well,
it makes me grateful for my family.
Yeah, your family's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, your family's
For how crazy they are. They're really loving people.
They're crazy, but they're loving because they know they're crazy.
Yeah.
My family, on the other hand, doesn't think their shit stinks.
Right.
And yet.
And they judge the fuck out of you.
So much.
I know.
And then you look
for
at.
being happy.
And you look at their life and you're like, that is not a life I would even remotely want to live. But you come from it, so you feel these ties, but then you're just like, hey, listen. Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
We see the world differently.
See, I'm so proud of you.
And I don't feel any obligation. Well, first of all, no man owes an obligation to any other man on this world. That's just not how it works. You're an adult. You carry your own weight. You do your own thing.
Sure.
But you see people struggle, and you go, they're struggling because of their own shit.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with my shit, and I was able to work through my stuff.
Yeah.
And do my thing, and that is what it is.
And they're supposed to do the same, but don't. They just point the finger at you and judge you.
What a weird thing to
Isn't that wild?
Specifically reach out to somebody to be negative towards.
Right. You're like, I can't wait for him to respond because I'm going to shit all over. I'm going to say all the things I need to say.
It's just so bizarre.
Negative.
Bizarre behavior.
Yeah.
So,
anyways,
the manipulation and the scarcity that I came from, this is how it looks. This is how I was able to note. This was the big tell for me when I realized how scarce and poverty mindset I came from. Was a family member of mine called me and asked me a question, said something, and then I asked him just a real honest question back. No tone, no that. I said, well, yeah, but tell me about this. And they're like, oh no, now you're mad. I'm sorry you even asked. And they like did this big manipulative fucking guilt trip thing.
Dang.
And this was maybe when Jovi was 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, oh, these are some deep-seated patterns. I should start looking into myself and how I think, because I was raised by these loving people who didn't know any better. But when you share any feedback with them about it, it is absolutely not. It's 100% on you. Oh my God.
How dare you? Yeah.
And eventually you just go, you just got to wish them the best. But as 46-year-old man, this is my father, this is my brother, and my sister. And I've just come to my ultimate conclusion is that my life is better without these people in it.
On air, I'm going to say this so everyone knows, but I said it to you, is like, I always thought it was a you problem.
Yeah.
So I felt negative towards you about it. Like, how dare you?
Like, why don't you like your family?
Yeah, like,
that much?
I love mine. Why don't you love yours? I want a bigger family. I want I want everyone around. Like, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
And I even had to apologize. I actually did. When I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought it was a you thing.
Yeah.
But it's a them thing. And I saw that clearly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll never, ever say, answer, call, nothing for your family.
It's
just mine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Your family supports people becoming who they want to become, and then they're transferring. Not all families are like that.
Yeah.
So I got to work through this as a 46-year-old going, hey, you know what? my life is better without certain people in it,
Yeah.
regardless of how related we are. And
I said, we'll make our own family.
nobody owes anybody anything,
Mhm.
and I wish them the best. Now, this manipulation thing is so embedded into a man trying to get what he wants. And I want to leave our audience with a filter for them this week that they can kind of work through and try to catch themselves. Because if you become aware of this, you start to go, oh, shit. Okay.
Where else is this popping up in my life?
And well, at least if you become aware of it, that's the start where you can knock some of this shit off,
Mhm.
right? So the ultimate question I think a guy should ask whenever he's usually wanting more sex, wanting more affection, wanting more something, is to ask yourself, whatever this thing is that I'm hoping she initiates or does for me or responds with, how good am I at that for her? Like genuinely. So I'll give you an example. I was washing that chickeny greasy chicken thing, grease thing.
Yeah.
And here's what went through my head on why I did it. I know it's not my responsibility, but I know you said you love acts of service without being asked. So there's plenty of opportunity for that, but then there's some opportunities like, dude, that one's a big glaring one. That would be such a slam dunk and so easy. So, and I thought, but this is the filter I want to share with these guys. And I asked myself, do I want Jesse to be excellent at and abundant in surprising me with the thing that I like, that she knows that I love? And the answer is, well, yeah, that's one from Jesse. Cool. How great are you at it?
Yeah.
So when I saw that opportunity, I was like, I'm not doing this for Jesse to have sex with me. You don't deny me. Like, we have amazing sex. But I'm like, what am I modeling? What is my standard opportunity to go above and beyond just to serve you? It would take me 5 minutes until I realized that's just like tar on there, man. I was fucking chipping away I was scraping.
You're trying to scrape. You're like, does this come off?
What the fuck is up with this? This Brillo pad is not going to work. We need some heavy duty metal in here.
I know. You tried.
And so I just I just want to do this because I want to model and be an example and a standard of what would make her blown away.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a fucking dish.
I know. It's easier than people make it out to be.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. So the filter is, have I even come close to modeling what I'm asking her to be my expectation of her? And that's why we talk about so often, like, clean up your side of the street. We're going to spend a month or two just clean up your side of the street. Your sex life is going to change almost overnight, but you've got to fucking clean up your side of the street. And when you do, everything starts to change. And so it's the whole beer, ball game, burger, and blowjob analogy. It's like, if she would do this for you, you would love it. Can you find out what that would be for her? And that shit's fun because now it feels like a little bit of a game where you're kind of looking for opportunity. Where could I do this?
To one up each other in love and affection and
like
notice.
Just what I've been thinking about these couple of mornings. Like, okay, what would just geek? What would literally be like? Fuck, I'm the luckiest girl ever. Yeah. So you have to put those thoughts. Why? Because I want you to be laying in bed going, fuck, what would make him feel like the greatest, luckiest, awesomest husband ever? Well, you have two people living at that standard. You can't go wrong. You're listening to this podcast for pure entertainment, not for fucking tips and how to figure out how to get out of the pit. That's the truth. So
nailed it.
With that being said, listen. Here you sit, listening to this podcast again, going, fuck, man, I want to have these kind of conversations with my wife. I want to have these stories, these experiences. I just want the fucking peace and pleasure and playfulness back in my marriage where it seems like it's been gone. It's not because you married the wrong woman. It's not because you're no longer in the honeymoon phase. It's not because of any of those things. Those are all easy excuses to try and look like evidence. They are not. The truth of the matter is, it's how you're showing up for this beautiful lady that's calling you her husband, and how invested are into her and being the best version of you. It is so fucking fixable, way faster. And I'm going to even blow your mind right now. You might not believe me, but the truth of the matter is, your wife secretly, deep, deep down in her heart, is rooting for you to pull your head out of your own ass. She didn't get married to you so she could be fucking miserable. She got married to you the same reason she went on her second or third or fourth date with you, because she thought this would be a really fucking good time. If you adopt the frame, I fucked up, I've not been this standard, and then you start to live towards that standard, you can get everything that Jesse, Joy, and I talk about here. And that is bliss, blowjobs, and lots of fun. So with that being said, if you need help with this, which if you're listening to this podcast and you don't have what you want, the answer is you need help. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Nobody's talking about this shit, but we are. We get off on it. We fucking love it. So head to marriedgame.com. We'll have a conversation with you. Book a call. You'll chat directly with me or my right-hand guy, and we'll talk through what the fuck's going on in your relationship, so that way you don't have to spend the rest of your life going, well, I guess this is as good as it gets, because that ain't true, because tomorrow can be better than today. So keep crushing it. That shit is contagious.
Yeah, I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands.